It's day 2 of the Pacific Northwest special. Right now, we are currently exiting the hotel, which was very cozy. It was a very nice, sleepy, peaceful evening, let's just say. Right now, we are currently 20 miles south of the Canadian border, and right now we're driving towards it right now. And right now is actually, the weather is much better than it was last night. Last night it was raining, like the entire night it was raining. But this morning it's just sprinkling, but it's pretty bearable. So right now, let's just see, another 20 minutes or about half an hour, 20 minutes later, we should be in Blaine, Washington, which is going to be our border crossing. So fingers crossed, let's just see what happens when we cross the border. But first, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hit that subscribe button. If you like this episode, by the end of the episode, please hit the like button. Okay, so we are officially in Canada now. We are actually in a town called Surrey. So basically the border crossing was very quick. It took us like less than a minute. They asked us questions like, where are you guys from? What are you doing here? What hotel are you staying? Where are you staying? How long are you gonna be here? And how was the drive here? So basically they ask you questions to make sure that you're compliant with everything in the law and such. But other than that, we are officially in Canada. So it's now 21 miles to our final destination, which is the Holiday Inn Hotel in downtown Vancouver. So my God, how exciting. We are in Canada. This is technically another country in my book that I wanted to visit. So kudos to that. So now, on with the show. 25 minutes later, we finally arrived at the hotel, and what a beautiful sight it was, considering that we traveled more than 1,000 miles to get here. The hotel in question that we stayed was called the Holiday Inn Express Vancouver Metrotown in Burnaby, British Columbia, located 7 miles south of the downtown Vancouver area. After parking our car, we ended up going through 2 doors, and on the second door, we heard a distinct voice recording of After hopping on the elevator, we went up to the second floor to get ourselves checked in. Unfortunately, our room wasn't quite ready yet. They said that we didn't have to check in until 3 p.m. So, in the meantime, we ended up deciding to look around the hotel itself, and I gotta say, it looks very nice. I ended up looking at the 3rd floor, where they had the pool and the gym itself. Oh, did I mention breakfast is free? Oh yes. Well, since we still had 2 hours to get our room, we decided to just hop in the car and just take a drive down to Vancouver to just check out the sights. And since our gas tank was running a little low, we decided to just go ahead and find ourselves a gas station to fill up our car. And little did we know that we were going to have a little bit of a problem with that. You'll see why in a sec. Okay, so we're about to fill up gas here in Vancouver, and it's actually the very first time I fill up in another country, which I've never done before. And we're about to find out how much it actually costs to fill up here at this particular gas station. It's actually the Shell gas station here in Vancouver. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so we just figured out how much it costs per liter. It turns out it's $2.39 Canadian dollars, which translates to $1.78 per liter. And if you multiply that by 3.78 liters, which is the United States, 1 gallon of gasoline in the United States is the equivalent of $6.73 a gallon. So, go figures, it is very expensive here in Vancouver. And to make matters worse, in that gas station, they didn't accept US dollars. They have to use Canadian dollars. So now we're trying to see if we can find somewhere that we can actually transfer some of our dollars and convert them to Canadian dollars. Or plan B is to find a gas station that actually accepts US dollars. So, oh my gosh, here we go. Not off to a good start, but let's find it. We're gonna have to find it one way or another. It turns out that this gas station did accept US currency, so we filled up and continued with our search of a place to do the currency exchange. However, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the current city we are in.
Located 25 miles north of the US-Canadian border, we are in the absolutely mind-blowing city of Vancouver. Alright, let me give you a few facts and figures, if I may, about Vancouver. The population of the city itself is 662,000, but whereas the metropolitan area equates to 2.8 million, which makes it the third most populous metropolitan city in Canada. It has 21 municipalities, including the city of Vancouver, Surrey, Burnaby, Northern Vancouver, just to name a few. It's one of the most ethnically and linguistically diverse cities in Canada, and is often voted as one of the most livable cities in the world, but is also one of the most expensive to live in. It is also known for its forestry, tourism, and movie industry, and it actually earned its nickname Hollywood North. And it's also known for its scenery, different types of cuisine, and is also known for its multicultural hub of the arts and culture. And it is also known for its outdoor activities, and is often described as one of the most sustainable cities in the world. And it also hosted the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup and also the 2010 Winter Olympics. Anyways, back to the job at hand to find a place to exchange our US currency to Canadian currency. And I was told by the hotel concierge that there is a place for this at the mall next door to our hotel, so we did just that. And lo and behold, we found our currency exchange place, the VBCE, the Vancouver Bullion and Currency Exchange.
So I'm right now, I found this other place that we're able to exchange currency. So we're gonna find out if we can change my $300 into Canadian dollars. Let's see. Right, 60565, now 100, 2, 20, 40, 60, 360, 380, 390, 295.
Afterwards, we ended up running into this place called Jugo Juice, which is similar to Jamba Juice here in the US. I ended up trying the mocha protein smoothie, and opened in 1986, the Metropolis and Metrotown Mall has over 1.78 million square feet of stores with over 450 different types of stores, and is 3 stories high. It has 27 million customers every year, and it's the third largest mall in Canada. The food court itself has a big dining hall in the middle with over 30 different fast food options, including Mexican, American, Chinese, Vietnamese, Italian, Greek, and Japanese. And there are even some common brands like Kentucky Fried Chicken, Subway, Baskin Robbins, just to name a few. And I'm choosing Manchu Wok, which turns out to be the second biggest Chinese restaurant chain in North America. I ended up getting the honey garlic chicken with chow mein.
See how good it is. Just like that. Good quality chicken. It's day 3 of the Northwest Special, and today we are going to visit more of Vancouver today. So we're going to visit, most likely we're going to visit Stanley Park, Granville Island, Yaletown, and some other parts of Vancouver. So I want you guys to come along for the ride.
Today's weather was so much better than the weather that we have experienced over the last few days. It gave us a taste of what Vancouver was like on a nice sunny day. We ended up crossing a tunnel, 2 bridges, which were the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge and the Lionsgate Bridge, and which led us to Stanley Park.
We're just here at Stanley Park, and definitely, I can definitely say this is absolutely gorgeous out here. It's beautiful out here. It's just basically in the heart of Vancouver. If you're if you want to enjoy yourself here, like take a nice time with like somebody else, by yourself, you want to go bike riding here, you just want to sit down and relax and look at the views. This is probably one of the biggest highlights here in Vancouver. You cannot miss it whatsoever.
Parking here is relatively cheap. 2 hours you can pay $8.50 Canadian, which is equivalent to almost $6 US dollars. But it's definitely very nice out here. It is definitely worth the visit. So if you're down here in Vancouver, you cannot miss Stanley Park. So we are here at the other part of Stanley Park, and I can definitely tell you the views are just getting better and better. Right behind over there, that island, I don't know if you can see it, but back there, that's Vancouver Island. That's where we're going tomorrow. We're going to go in particular to Victoria. But for today, it's right now, the views are just getting more and more and more spectacular. In fact, like you can see the pool of Vancouver right behind me, right there. You can definitely see it. There's a swimming pool over there right next to the bay. This park is so huge. Like, you can drive around and you still are in Stanley Park. We're technically still in Stanley Park. It's still like another like 2 miles around that. We went from the point of the beach earlier to here. That was 2 miles. And yet still, this is all part of Stanley Park. So definitely there's a lot to do here. You can literally spend an entire day here and yet you still will not get bored. Who won't? Who does get bored of these views? These views are spectacular. I can't get any better than this, honestly. You can. Find out. After Stanley Park, we headed a couple miles down to Yaletown to check out the sights there. Yaletown is home to a lot of businesses and restaurants, and it's nightlife in Vancouver. There are over hundreds of restaurants and coffee shops that even many people who have traveled here consider Vancouver a food paradise for foodie people. We were craving pizza, so we went to find a pizzeria. Right now we're at Boston Pizza, and I wanna try out the pizza that they just bring to me, which was the jalapeno with pepperoni, which I ordered. And you can basically make your own pizza. They have a couple others that you like, but you can make your own pizza at any style that you want, any size, and basically if they have certain flavors, you can ask for, of course. But if there's nothing. It's day 4 of the Northwest Special, and you join us here in Vancouver at 6:30 in the morning. Why up so early? Because we're on our way to the docks at Swanson Bay to board on a ferry to go to Victoria, which is located in Vancouver Island, which is about almost 30 miles away. But for that, we need to get to the ferry on time. Otherwise, we risk leaving it behind. We left our hotel at 6:35 in the morning, and the GPS was saying I was going to arrive at the dock at 7:33 a.m., which would make me officially late to check into the boat. So we were speeding through the suburbs of Vancouver, and the GPS kept fluctuating between 7:13 and 7:33 a.m. No matter what time it was, we had to get there on time, otherwise we risked leaving it behind. Thanks to my safe, fast driving, as my best friend back home would describe it, we got there at 7:07 a.m., which was very early. Alright, we got to the Victoria. We're here at the port, so now we're about to board the boat. Let's find out. See how it goes. I got a reservation for it, so we are going in now. Hopefully we make it. We actually are on time, but we just need to figure out if we're actually on the right boat. Okay, so here goes nothing. Hi there, how you doing? I gotta run through something. Oh, my bad. Super windy.
Oh, I might have to
do it again. Okay.
Yeah, what's the last name? And it's still for 3 people?
3 people, correct.
Okay, there you go, lane 42.
Lane 42?
You're right.
Thank you very much. La 42. So 42. So we're going on lane 42. So we're just gonna find it. Okay, so it is 41 and 2. So we're hopping on the ferry. We got a ticket. If you guys are coming over to Victoria for any reason, if you guys come to Canada and you guys want to go to Victoria on a boat like how we are with the car and us as passengers, you need, what I advise, reserve ahead of time. Go on bcferries.com. I'll link in the description below, but basically you go ahead, you tell them the time that you want to hop in, You get a long list of hours you guys can jump in and whatnot, and from there you have to be here between 60 minutes and 30 minutes beforehand. So it's always vital to get here within that parameter, because if you arrive earlier, or you arrive half an hour, like after the 30 minutes before that you guys hop in on the boat, then all bets are off. You're not gonna be able to board. But however, we made it in time. We still have about 50 minutes before we actually board on the boat. But overall, like, it's actually a lot simpler than I thought. But basically, if you guys do all of that, it saves you a lot of troubles in the long run. You're able to buy the tickets here. You can do that. But however, my advice, reserve them ahead of time, especially if you're considering coming over to Vancouver and you want to visit Victoria by car. Or if you don't even need a car, you can just go by passenger. You can just go ahead and just say, oh, I'm gonna park the car, and you can hop on the boat, and then from there you can take the bus to Victoria or Nanaimo, which is another part of Vancouver Island. But overall, very self-explanatory. Let's see how it goes. Alright, this is it. We're boarding the boat. Alright. We're going to Schwartz Bay. This is Swanson Bay. This is the very part of Swanson Bay. And we're going to Schwartz Bay. Schwartz Bay is in Vancouver Island. So just for a little bit of clarification here. So here we are. We're actually about to board on the boat. This is going to be an interesting one. We're on the boat. We are in the boat. So yeah, we're on the boat now. Here for 90 minutes. As it turns out, this system is so organized that, in fact, that they actually make you either go left, either go right. That they organize it in such a way that everybody can fit through here, no problem at all. They were trying to maximize the amount of cars they can fit. So let's see. Let's enjoy the sea voyage. But we're on the boat. And I'm a little nervous. I hope I don't get seasick.
The boat that we were on had 5 decks. The bottom decks were for the passenger vehicles and semi-trucks. Most of the upper decks were for seating passengers. The upper deck had the gift shop, a convenience store, and a coffee shop, and they sat more passengers. The boat in question was called the Queen of the New Westminster. If you want to see the views, however, you would have to go outside, where throughout the entire journey you get to see the Strait of Georgia while passing through the surrounding islands. Alright, so it's been nearly more than an hour since we left the port back in Swanson Bay. But I can definitely tell you it is worth the scenery. It is worth the wait, and it's worth the drive, because there's so much natural beauty out here. Look at it. Like, it's so nice and very understated. Like, it's so beautiful. If you're coming down to Victoria, you're in for a nice surprise, because you get to see not just it's not just a simple ferry ride. It's in the middle of the sea or in the middle of the bay. We're talking about, you're looking at the different islands around here in the surrounding areas. And right now, like, I just finished some photography and also recorded some more footage of my GoPro, which I'm sure you guys have probably seen it at this very moment. But so far, it's been phenomenal, and I can't wait to get to Victoria in the next hour or so. So stay tuned for that.
Alright, we are officially docked, and now we're just waiting to get out. Alright, let's do it.
As mentioned before, the way BC Ferries handles things are very efficient, and it didn't take us long to get out of the boat. After getting off the boat, it was just another 20 miles to reach our next destination on the list, Victoria. We were expecting more traffic here in Victoria than in Vancouver or any big city. However, Victoria is not necessarily a big city. With a population of 91,000 people in the city itself, and with just 397,000 in the greater metropolitan area. Located about 60 miles southwest of Vancouver, it is the capital city of British Columbia, and the name is commemorating Queen Victoria of the UK, the great-great-grandmother of Queen Elizabeth II, who reigned for 63 years from June 1837 to January 1901.
So we're walking to the Parliament building here in Victoria, British Columbia, and it looks like the tours are free. So I might go in the building and see if we can get a tour for free and see if it's true. And if it turns out that I'm going to take a tour around the Parliament buildings. It's so exciting! Get to see how the House of Parliament works here in Canada. So it looks like, yes, we are in the tour for the Parliament building here. And right now, I'm so excited to see how Parliament works here in at least in British Columbia itself. But so far, I gotta say it's a very magnificent building. So I don't know if I can film the entire thing, but hopefully I'm able to do as much as possible. So alright, so here it goes. We're gonna film this entire thing. Let's do this.
Officially called the British Columbia Parliament Buildings, it is home to the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia. Back in 1856, Vancouver Island was a colony of British North America and later merged into the mainland, and it was known as the Colony of British Columbia from 1866 to 1871, when it was incorporated into the Canadian Confederation in 1871. Legislature of the colony of Vancouver Island will meet up at Fort Victoria, which is located half-mile down the street of the current Parliament buildings. In 1893, however, the Legislative Assembly authorized the construction of a new Parliament building. An architectural competition was going on for the specific project because its citizens were tired of the buildings that were being built that were known as the brick cages due to leaks and drafts during stormy weather. Fellow British architect Francis Rattenbury was part of the competition, and his design won the competition, and thus the current British Columbia Parliament building was born. The Queen herself, Queen Elizabeth II, would make the trips to Victoria. His designs was so popular he received more commissions to build more buildings in Victoria and other parts of the province, including the Empress Hotel, the Crystal Gardens indoor swimming pool, and the Vancouver Courthouse, which is now part of the Vancouver Art Gallery. The rest of the town has a historical feel to it. It is known as the Garden City due to its artistical gardens throughout the town square, which consists of many gift shops and restaurants. In fact, the Serbian crowdsourced online database website Nubeo, which checks the cost of living, property prices, and quality of life, rates Victoria as one of the top 20 world-class cities to live in.
So right now it's 2:40 right now, and we're almost going to have to go back to the boat back in Swartz Bay, back to Swanson Bay to go to Vancouver. But however, so far I found this park. Once I found out the name, I'll point it out. But basically, in this park, I came across this spectacular view of the bay that heads to the Pacific Ocean over there. But however, back there is Port Angels, Washington. That mountainside over there, that's all of Washington. So this is basically the border of Canada. But over there, that's the state of Washington, back over there in the United States. But basically, all these views though, they are amazing. It's just fantastic. Like over here, like everywhere I go, there's always some good place to see and do. But there's no denying that Canada has a lot of natural beauty in the same way that I found California has a lot of natural beauty in recent memory. But Canada really tops it off. Like, there's a lot of natural beauty out here. Like, you don't even need captions, you don't need filters, you don't need anything like that to describe the beauty of Canada. And tomorrow we're going down to Whistler, and they say that that's one of the best mountain roads you can drive all of North America. So I'm about to find out if that's true. But for now, this pretty much is one of my biggest highlights of the entire road trip so far. Like, this is like, if you want to describe in Canada in a nutshell, like in a metaphor, this is it. This is pretty much it. So look, so we came early to the boat to go back to Vancouver, and it turns out that they actually had room for us to go back early. So we're actually heading back to Vancouver earlier than we thought. So right now they said that there was room enough for this boat. So here we are. We're actually done on the boat right now. Yeah, we're loading and we're on the boat. Ooh. The boat. See how this goes. We're on the boat.
We docked back into the mainland at Swanson Bay, and as we were driving back to Vancouver, we noticed that the weather was very nice and sunny, that we were able to see the Vancouver skyline from a long distance compared to when we first arrived to Vancouver 2 days ago. What do you guys think? Is it enough to convince you to travel to Vancouver yet? If so, comment below. If not, don't worry, I still have an ace up my sleeve coming up, and I hope that will convince you enough to come to Canada.
It's day 5 of the Pacific Northwest Special, and right now we're actually on the road from Vancouver to Whistler, which is actually 2 hours away. So stay with us, because today it turns out that road that we're taking has a lot of spectacular views, and they say that it's one of the best driving roads in North America. So I'm gonna go find out for myself if that's true. I'm sure it is, but I wanted to formulate my own opinion. So alright, let's do it.
Located 78 miles north of Vancouver, and with a population of nearly 14,000 people, Whistler is a resort municipality that is known for its ski resort, many outdoor activities, and it is one of the most visited destinations in North America, and it hosted the 2010 Winter Olympics.
Alright, so far it's been over 45 miles since we left Vancouver, and I can definitely tell you that the roads here are spectacular. It's called the Sea to Sky Highway. Basically, it's a corridor that is it's part of the British Columbia's road system. But basically, they say that this part is actually one of the best roads in North America, and sure enough, it looks like it is. I mean, check this out. Okay, so we are officially in Whistler, British Columbia. I'm actually on my way to go to the spa. It's called the Scandinavian Spa Resort, which is basically they're gonna do thermal baths, they're gonna do all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go try it out myself, because let's face it, I've never had a spa in my entire life. So for me, this is gonna be an absolute first. However, unfortunately, they don't allow recording inside the building like how I've done in the last like for example in the restaurants or any place like that, anything public like that. Unfortunately, they have a strict policy with that because of privacy reasons. But other than that, like, but it certainly is. It's going to be a marvelous experience. I'll talk about it later throughout the video, but definitely. It's going to be quite an experience. So let's find out. Let's see how it goes. So we made it to the spa. It started pouring rain. So from here, I won't be able to record, unfortunately, because due to their guidance and, of course, the privacy of other guests. But however, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay, so I just left the spa, and I can definitely tell you it was an absolute blast to be in the spa. Honestly, more than I ever bargained for, to be honest. So I added the massage as an absolute last option. That it actually was a last minute decision. I thought it came with it. It turns out it wasn't, but it was my fault. In my defense, it was my fault. However, I did pick it up, and they had one just in time that of my appointment, so I was able to do that, and that was actually a very relaxing experience. So I will say kudos to the team that works for Scandinavia, and also to the receptionist, her name is Lauren, and she took care of me and answered all of my questions. And to be honest, like, it was she's really phenomenal. So like, if anybody goes to the Scandinavian spa here in Whistler, it is definitely worth it here. Like, literally worth it. You know, you also not just get the massage, you have the Scandinavian experience. So in other words, you go in the thermal bath. So you start with a hot bath, then you start with like for 15 or 20 minutes, and then afterwards you get off, you go in the cold plunge. You go in for like 5 to 20 seconds. Some people take like about a minute. It really depends on how comfortable you feel. I, however, like, I am not a person who goes to a whole plunge like that. So for me, it was like 20 seconds to a minute. Like, I had to get out of my comfort zone just to do that. But then afterwards, you have choices. Either you can go relax, so the temperature can settle, or you can go to the sauna. And afterwards, I chose to go to the sauna. And honestly, it was great. Like, 3 times. I went 3 times. And technically, you're supposed to do this 3 or 4 times for the therapy to work in its wonders. So, needless to say, it's great. Like, it's phenomenal. So, if anybody comes to Canada, and if you're like willing to go for a spa, like it's 2 hours away from Vancouver, it's worth the drive. Honestly, it is worth the drive. It makes you feel so relaxed. I feel so calm. Like, I feel so serene for the very first time in a very long time. I'm not saying that the rest of my trip was not relaxing. It has. It's just this took it to the next level. So I love that.
I found this lake. It's called Alta Lake, which is like outside of Whistler, and I can definitely tell you this is probably like one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen. Like, in fact, I got a feeling that it might even beat Lake Tahoe for some reason. But look at that. Savor it for a minute. Like, honestly, take a breath in, and you can definitely tell, like, this is like, if you're here to relax and enjoy yourself, like, you want to do a little bit of meditation, you want to enjoy yourself a little bit where you can, this is it. This is basically nirvana. This is like basically mental health nirvana right here. Like, you can't beat that. There's no way anybody can beat this. There's no place I've ever been that it looks just, there's so much natural beauty here. Like, I'm telling you, Canada is honestly, like, definitely full of natural beauty. After this, we were heading back to Vancouver, and my God, we were in for a treat.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rain. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't
So far this trip's been amazing. I'm just so sad that I'm gonna leave Canada tomorrow, and I definitely don't want to leave. Hate to say it, but I honestly want to move here now. I'm not so sure about staying in California anymore. It's just every place I go here, and like especially here in Canada, it just gets more and more and more beautiful. Like, in fact, Whistler itself, there's so much natural beauty here that, oh my God, wow, it's brilliant. Like, Canada as a whole, as a country, honestly, it's gonna be phenomenal. So I gotta say, like, this is one of the few places I've ever been that I can definitely tell you, my God, like, I would want you guys to come. Like, if you viewers, that if you guys want to take a trip somewhere, Canada is the answer. Like, literally, it'll be so relaxing. Like, you can't go wrong with it. I almost missed the trip. It is overall such a brilliant country. Like, no questions asked. Everybody's very friendly. Everything is calm. I mean, it's not all perfect. Obviously, gas prices are expensive, and also some things are very expensive. But granted, that is a small price to pay compared to the benefits of living here. Like, I can tell you, a lot of people love living here. Like, everything's so calm and so serene. So, if you ever guys want to come over here, come over. Don't even think about it. Just do it. It's day 6 of the Northwest Special, and right now we are sadly leaving Canada now. Technically it was our last day today. But the good news, we are heading out actually 128 miles to our next destination, which is Kirkland, which is outside of Seattle, Washington. So we are going to be visiting Seattle and the surrounding cities for the next 2.5 days. So stay with us. Stay tuned with us. I'm going to be honest, we almost got ourselves in trouble.